Hey friends, thanks so much for joining me for another tutorial. Guys, this is the first ever resin project I've ever done. So this was about 2020, early 2020, I got into resin, and this was the first project I've ever done. So this tutorial is all going to be about do as I say, not as I do. So the first thing is I did make this mold. I got the silicone tray from I think like Bed Bath & Beyond, and it wasn't that cheap. So I got the silicone mold from there, and then I used I'm not sure the name of the product I used to actually make the mold, and I will link that in the description below. But you have to make the mold, I believe, like 24 hours prior, just to make sure that it sticks to the silicone, as well as I think it's also silicone too. So both of them is silicone because silicone sticks to silicone. And then also you have to like pour water after you make your mold. If you create a mold yourself, you have to at least pour water in it to make sure that there's no leaks. And so that was the biggest thing for me. There's a ton of leaks in this one. It's such a big project. I didn't know what I was doing. I was way in over my head. So nonetheless, if you're just starting off with resin, just buy a mold from Amazon, from Michael's, wherever you have to go, just go ahead and buy a mold. So to get into this piece that I'm actually making, guys, I am just using alcohol inks and resin. At this time, I didn't have any mica powders, and I saw this this piece specifically. Another YouTuber had done it, and I really loved how it turned out, and I wanted to recreate it. Right now, I'm just trying to go from memory. I'm using like the color scheme that YouTuber created. I am not sure their name. It was so long ago. But if I find her video again, I will link her in the comments below, because I definitely want to give her the credit for the inspiration. Definitely didn't come out the same. So guys, what I'm doing is I was just laying the different colors that I had, and then I am trying to, I was laying the different colors, and then I was popping the bubbles as I went along. This project is so big. Another disclaimer here, guys, always wear safety materials. As you can see, I am not wearing any gloves. I didn't even have a respirator on at this time. Again, I didn't understand the gravity of the project that I was getting into. I had just seen some videos on YouTube, and I was like, let's go. I just got the things that I needed, and I was like, let's go. So the first thing you always want to do when you're starting off with resin, make sure you get gloves, respirator, protective eyewear, and then also always have baby wipes on hand. That's going to be your go-to for any cleanup. So for this project, I did multiple things wrong. I didn't mix enough white, so there's tons of different shades of white in this project. It came out just fine, honestly. In a color scheme sense. As you can see now, I'm just trying to, I feel like there's way too much white, more than what I thought. And also, the colors of this piece is gravitating towards the middle, and I didn't expect that. And so I am just adding more colors and then trying to go back in with my popsicle stick to make a design so that it's not like white around the ends and then color in the middle. I did not want that look. The biggest mistake I made when making this piece was probably my resin ratio. So I wasn't aware of actually how to mix resin at this point in time. I just thought it was like equal weight, but it's not. And so you want to do like 2 ounces part A, 2 ounces part B. I think that's volume. I'm not sure. Anyways, so you want to make sure that you're mixing your resin properly. Otherwise, your project will not come out the way you want it to. This project I still have. It is so bendy. I just didn't mix the resin properly, and so it's just a very flexible. It's just a very flexible tray. I will try to take a video of it and then include it on the end of this video. I think you guys could learn a lot from that. But just make sure whenever you get resin, a lot of resins have different ratios. Always read the resin that you have, the safety instructions, how to mix it properly, and then you should be good. Don't just watch YouTube videos and think that all resins are created equally, because it's really not. And another thing that you want to be mindful of when you're pouring resin, is the 10% rule when you're adding any additives. So as you can see in these cups, I have clear resin. So this resin that I mixed already, then I'm adding like alcohol inks to make a color. Well, you never want to put more than 10% of any additive, whether it's alcohol inks, mica powders, or anything like that, to your clear resin. Otherwise, it will also mess up your project in the end as well. So this, like I said, guys, this is just going to be a tutorial of me showing you how I did this piece. I will have, I'll take a video of how bendy it still is, and then also a finished picture. So some ways that you can correct bendy, I think, you can just pour, you can actually mix like clear resin or a flood coat, if you will. A flood coat is just when you mix a little bit of resin, and you can add maybe like a little bit of glitter if you want some glitz and glam, you know, and then you just pour it on top of your finished piece. So after this cures, to do the flood coat, you wait until your projects finally cure, and then you add clear resin on top. I mean, you can add some opaque colors as well if you would like, but usually a flood coat is just clear resin on top of your project. You can use it to fix a mold. Sometimes if your project, if you burn your resin, you can sand it down, and then also use clear resin to correct it. So do a flood coat on top of that. You can also use it if your mold is really deep, and then you create a project and you absolutely love it, but you didn't fill out the mold. You can come back with a flood coat to fill up your mold. And right now what we're doing, we're torching the resin to pop the bubbles. So I wasn't very sure, like I knew that I needed to put heat to pop the bubbles, but I didn't know what that really entailed. So we're kind of doing whatever. What you want to do is, I would recommend getting a heat gun from Amazon and always using a heat gun. You don't want to put too much heat on it. You don't want to burn it or anything like that. And it's really easy to do when you're doing an open flame. So get a smaller, I think it's called like an embellishing tool, like a heat gun. Get one of those. It don't produce a lot of flame, but it gets the job done. You use a heat gun to pop the bubbles, to move your resin around. And so it's just a really neat tool to have. And as you can see, guys, I am getting resin all over the place. At the very least, I did cover my counters, and so I didn't have any resin on my counters. But if you do have resin on your counters, first thing you want to do, baby wipes. Like I said, that's going to be your go-to. It'll clean it right up. But if your resin has cured on a lot of different counter types, I know for mine specifically, a sharp razor peels it right up as well. And so every counter is different. I'm not sure what kind of counters you guys have, but if you come across that problem, definitely just leave me a comment and let me know, and I'll try to provide some tips for you guys. But I hope that you learned a lot from this video, because I definitely did. Resin has come a very, very long way, and I'm so grateful for it. Happy resining, you guys. Definitely get started. It's such a fun craft. Nonetheless, I'm gonna leave those videos at the end so that you can see the final product and then a final product picture. Please, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate your support. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I always get back to all of my comments. But until next time, like I said, guys, this is one where you want to do as I say, not as I do. Until next time.